Okay, well, it's me, Artisan Tony, and I'm wearing my talking lead hat, even though talking lead doesn't talk to Artisan Tony anymore. I left my artisan hat out in the truck, so I'm wearing my talking lead hat. My other option was my camo cowboy hat, which is kind of heavy and big for interior use. But I have invited some guests tonight. They haven't come yet because they weren't expecting me to invite them. Sort of some old regulars. We go turn down the volume on the YouTube's page. Let's go back now. I don't know. It's funny because I've been kind of in this sort of weird place lately. I feel like I've been I don't know. I have removed myself from all activities because of this illness that I've had. It's really strange, honestly. I went to the doctor about 3 weeks ago, and over an infection that I had a fever. It was the day after. Of course, I'm not blaming this on Warthog. A friend of mine, whose YouTube name is Warthog, something's got some numbers after it. Um, Invited me to well we were trying to hook up, right? So he had inherited this drill press mortising machine, and he offered it to me, and I wanted to actually pay him for it. I didn't want him to give it to me. But anyway, he and his son and Alex and I met at a cool barbecue place, and excuse me, I'm still trying to get over spraying myself with pepper spray, which is another funny story. But any event, we met at the barbecue place. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! This C Pro has turned me into an old man. If I wasn't an old man before, I am now. Okay, back to the story. We were at the barbecue place, and I started feeling kind of like, I feel weird. And I started getting a fever, so I faked it through that. We had a good time. I really did have a good time. Warhol was a really nice guy for coming down from Knoxville and bringing the mortising machine. As a matter of fact, when I feel better, I'm going to make them something. I already have something in mind. I love buying these blanks, these ferro rod blanks, and I make fire starters with them. Like I have one on my keychain all the time. So if I run out, just make a new one. What cheer? So anyway, where was I'm the world's worst of getting myself off track and like going off into different branches of stories. So I'll try to stay on the right track here. Anyway, I got home. Fever got up to 102. Next day, the next day was actually Sunday. So I had to suffer through Sunday with a fever and this bulging thing I had near my man craft. That's what we'll just call it for now. And Monday, I finally called the doctor and said, "Look, I've got an infection. Um, got fever 102.3, gonna come in. She was like, at first they were like, oh, we don't have a place for you. And of course, after I told them I had the fever and the infection, they were like, okay, we'll make a spot for you. I got to the doctor, and lo and behold, she looked at me in my spot and said, you're not going anywhere. You're going directly to the hospital. So I did, and they did a CT scan, and thankfully it was not um, what she called abscessed. So she let me go home with oral antibiotics, which I thought, oh, I'm getting off easy. Well, little did I know that's Cipro. That's what I call it. It's called Cipro, but it's ciprofloxacin something or another. Is like on the high priority list or the one of the top medicines they prescribe for anthrax exposure. So ever since I've been teasing or kind of joking about the fact that it feels like I was exposed to anthrax, because if you look at all of the symptoms of anthrax, then I have those to the T. Okay. Now I'm not claiming that. I'm just thinking that it's a very um, I'm just looking at the first comment. Didn't they do that on Married with Children? Joey Drinko. It's funny. Uh, I like that show. It's pretty funny. Good looking girls on there. But anyway, so, but I was quite startled by the fact that because I was like, because this is a little Romanian lady. My doctor is a small 5 foot tall Romanian. She's very smart, okay, very intelligent. Where I would not go to her. I do trust her a lot, but I was like, look, lady, I can fight my way out of this doctor's office. You can't force me to go to the emergency room. And she was, I was kind of laughing about it. And she was like, this is very serious. You need to go now. So they wheeled me over there. I'm sorry, I'm still sniffling from spraying myself with pepper spray. But, or something. Jesus, help me. Take me home, Jesus. Anyway, they took me over there, and it's funny because the first nurse that came in was a male nurse. Beware of the male nurse, okay? He told me he was going to save me from being stuck 1 or 2 times. And see that bruise right there? Yeah, that was the first time out of 5 they stuck me. So never trust a male nurse. Just kidding. Anyway, they took me in and did a CT scan, and that was weird because they made me lay on this little skinny table. Oh my God, this is making me sleepy. And little skinny table that was like half the width that I am. And they said, put your arms up. You're going to go through this little donut hole, and we're going to scan you. Well, it was so funny because I was like, I got like my nose through the hole, and I was like, wait. I was like, it opens up on the other side, right? And they're like, yeah, it opens up. Because I remember, I don't know, a long time ago, I had another scan type thing, and it was like a tunnel. I get claustrophobic pretty easily. So anyway, it did open up on the other side. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. So they scanned me from like my belly button down to my kneecap. And so about an hour, they took me back to during the scan, before the scan, they shot me up with iodine, some kind of liquid that makes the CT scanner work. It is a contrasting agent. Excuse me for sniffling. And so they said, okay, you're going to feel like warm all over your body, and You may feel like you're going to pee on yourself, but you're really not. And as she was saying that, she was injecting it, and it was like all of a sudden my neck and my spine all felt like really hot, and you could feel it going down. And sure enough, it was really warm down there, and so my whole body felt warm, and it was really strange, a really odd feeling. And anyway, they did the CT scan. It didn't take very long. It took me back to the emergency room, and they came in about an hour later and said, "Oh, no big deal. It's not abscessed or whatever." My doctor said, "Look, if it's abscessed, if it's gone into tissue, you're in big trouble." That was really scary because my mother-in-law actually died of a staph infection, and my thoughts immediately went to watching her die in the hospital. Literally, I saw tears coming down her face as she was passing away, which was very spooky, as if she knew what was happening. She was in sort of a coma state. She went septic, and whatever that, I'm not sure that the infection had gotten so taken her body so much that it was not curable. Uh, I'm obviously not a medical doctor, so I don't know the entire or the correct terminology, but sadly, I watched my mother-in-law die in the hospital. So my thoughts immediately went back to that, and I thought, whoa, this is scary stuff. So anyway, they finally sent me home, um, and the next 2 weeks were hell on earth. And I'll try to spare the gory details, but I was literally bedridden with with these pads on the bed and on the floor, oozing blood and all kinds of oozy stuff. Not and I'm not I don't mean oozy as in 9 millimeter small automatic weapon. I mean oozy as in stuff coming out of my body. So thank God my wife nursed me for a week and a half, and I got better. That actually healed up, and but now I'm dealing with the side effects from the C-Pro, Floxin, whatever it is. You can read all about it. It probably has the longest list of side effects of any medicine ever created in history. And I think because of my body mass, maybe I escaped most of those. The one thing that I did not escape was the welts that come up all over your body, and I'll spare you those. Uh, but I will say one is on my arse, my arse, and it is very painful when you sit on it. And I don't know why I even told you that, but I just did, so I can't erase it. But anyway, it's very painful. As a matter of fact, the side effects from the C-Pro are more painful than the infection were. They actually they gave me during the period when I was on the C-Pro, a, what is it, Oxycontin uh, prescription, hydrocodone. And I'm thinking, okay, what's that all about? Why do I need hydrocodone? And I found out shortly why you need it, because you are driven crazy with all the side effects, and there's no way to sleep while you're on C-Pro. It is the worst. And I don't want to talk anybody out of it because it probably saved my life, but I'm telling you, it is the worst antibiotic that you can dream of. I actually, at one point, about halfway through, thought I was having hallucinations. I was like in pain from these welts that came up on my body that I read later were side effects. And anyway, I really don't want to, I'm not asking for sympathy. I just let people know honestly why I've been kind of absent from YouTube for the last 3 weeks. So because um, it has been rough, 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 and I've been through a lot of stuff. I fall off buildings, broken bones, been shot in the leg with an arrow. I've been all this stuff that has caused much pain, but never been through this kind of crap before. I was hoping by now that some of my buddies might have answered call. Let me go back to YouTube and reload the page. See what kind of comments. Good morning from Romania, Tony. Expert survive tips. I don't know if you saw that or heard that my Dr. Andrescu, is from Romania. She's a little whiz banger. She's a really smart lady, and I really respect her a lot. And she probably saved me from a lot of headache. No, saved American Liberty. No, I don't have Ebola. If I had, they would have isolated me. The most interesting thing about anthrax, I have learned, is that they do not have to isolate you because it is not necessarily contagious. So, and I'll say this about the medical industry: they need to do a better job about informing, educating their patients, because like none, they haven't shared any of the results from the blood work they took. They took 3 vials of blood, and of course this was during the leading stories in the news was about Ebola. Obviously, I know I didn't have Ebola, but I honestly was curious about what it could be, because I've had minor infections in the past, and my body just fought them off. Um, I'm reading comments. Sorry, our swelts are good enough reason as they need to be away from it. Yes, they are. Uh, uh, so, uh, what was I saying? Oh, well, your doctor, it's like there's a lot of times there doesn't seem to be much communication between you and the hospital and your doctor and the ER doctor. There seems to be a disconnect there, and so they give you reason for there to be all this speculation. Like, it's been 3 weeks and I still don't have the doctor still hasn't shared any kind of lab results with me. you know. And then you read in the news where, all these states, like 20 states or 30 states, have requested, have sent blood samples to the CDC. And of course, it's because of the scare of the Ebola and all that. Of course, I'm smart enough to know I don't have Ebola, but there there is a possibility, there's always a possibility that you can be exposed to anthrax. Can be, you know, uh, you can be exposed to that through meat or through inhaling it or through, there's different forms. And I mean, honestly, I don't think I've been exposed to anthrax, but I just wish my doctor, when you have the same, when you have the same, symptoms and all the gory details are the same, you wonder, um, what the heck, you know. I just heard a bang. I thought one of my friends was joining. Darn it. But anyway, so they leave room. The medical industry leaves room for speculation because they're not exactly. You're not in the loop necessarily when it comes to um, communication. I mean, I imagine, what do I have to do? File some Freedom of Information Act release to get my charts. They took 3 vials of blood. What what are the results? of the blood test. They told me I didn't have all the normal. I didn't have high blood sugar. I didn't have high blood pressure. Pretty for my weight. I'm pretty in pretty good health, and that's why I've always been able to fight off these things before. I don't smoke or anything like that. So, but this one was pretty serious. So I expected to have some information from the doctor. Anyway, um, so I've been feeling a bit disconnected from YouTube and especially the gun channels because um, and this is not a complaint or I'm not crying. I haven't received any invites to hangouts or anything. I think sometimes I wonder if you don't do enough gun related videos, do you get ostracized, by the gun community? What is the gun community? The original title of my video, my hangout was Living with Anthrax but Without Gun Channels. The other thing I was going to do was tease gun websites and name it I Hate Gun Channels Podcast #1 because he has the I Hate Guns podcast weekly. But I used to get invites to those things, but I don't get invited anymore. So I don't know. I guess I'm being a bit girly and feeling a bit ostracized. And what does the word ostracized mean anyway? Let's look it up. Ostracized. Exclude someone from a society or group. Well, that's how I feel. In ancient Greece, banish an unpopular or to be powerful citizen from a city for 5 or 10 years by popular vote. Well, have I been ostracized? Exclude someone from a society or group. That's funny. Now, the gun community would say, well, you put yourself there because you made 10 videos where you were building a beehive, and then you did that other silly stuff. What was the other silly stuff? I gotta go back and look. What was it that I did? YouTube. Go to YouTube. Go to my channel. I was guilty of when I was feeling sick, really bad, and this was even having fevers. I did, let's see, I did a video about 9-year-old shooting instructor update through nights. Oh yeah, I had to send out the giveaway stuff. Anthrax malaise. I got the fever. I actually had a video of me in the hospital, a little vlog that I have made public. That's funny. I got one of Alex's first day at 9th grade at Notre Dame. To be or not to be. That was because the beehive stuff where I decided to wait till spring instead of hijacking a whole hive. That's a long story. But anyway, so I guess, yeah, how long has it been? It's been, good Lord. Okay, I guess I have to admit, it's been way back in July since I did a gun video. But geez, people, I went fishing, I went on a vacation, caught trout, took the family out on a boat, had some fun. What do you expect? I'm supposed to do a gun video every day? Jesus. Let's go to the next page and see how long I have to go back. Thanks, Stone Guy, for sending me the packages. It was the patches I did a video on happiness is renewing your rifle club membership. That's sort of gun related. So yeah, I guess I gave the gun community a reason to ignore me. Let's see. I did a challenge targets. I received challenge targets back on June 29th. That's been a while, hasn't it? So I guess it's my own fault. Yeah, whatever. All right, so how long has it been? Well, let's go. Let me go check the comments before I hang up. Let's see. Reload. Good morning from Romania. Okay, so I saw that. How do you want get receive invite to chat on gun channels? Email on left gun channels. I'd like to have you on, but never thought you would want to be on my Sunday gun channels. Yeah, just Dano. Send me an invite. I'll come on there. Lions, tigers, and arse melts on my on my USMC. How is your Glock 4? Oh, my Glock 42. I guess that might be a little quick video I can do. I got my where are my little maggots, which I thought was kind of a unique name. They allow your, well, for whatever model magazine they make you for, which my particular model is the Glock 42. They allow the Glock 42 to receive 7 rounds. So you change out the spring and the follower, and I bought 2 of them, which is kind of cool because I had already changed out the pinky or the grip extension on one of them. So I'll have my pocket pistol will have a little grip extension and 7 rounds, which I think the Glock 42 is kind of cool. You know, obviously it's a little underpowered, but it's a small little pistol. It's kind of cool. Request your records from the medical records department from the hospital you want. Okay, just Dano, that's a good idea. What do you mean by gory symptoms? Can you elaborate? Well, Rick Saw Jack, let's just put it this way. Since you asked, I wasn't going to elaborate, but I had this infection, okay? So basically, there's about a half-inch opening in my body where blood and ooze and all kinds of stuff, gooey junk, whatever you would call an infection, would come out just at will. Okay? Now, I hate to, if anybody's trying to eat dinner or whatever back on the West Coast, because it's 9:03 here, it's 6:03 there. Sorry, but I literally, you know, when I was pretty much bedridden for about a week, okay? And when I would get out of bed, I had these pads on the floor that would absorb, because I would literally have stuff falling out of my body onto the floor, okay? So it's actually pretty traumatic, you know. I mean, I'm pretty strong-willed, strong, you know, my psychological health is pretty strong, but there were points where I was like, Jesus, you know, I'm not going to live this way, you know, and you know, and I can understand, you know, I'm not that old, and I started feeling like, you know, I started to understand why people who are older and always have to have somebody take care of them, you know, how deep they can fall into some sort of anxiety or depression. Now, I didn't actually experience any depression, but I experienced this point where I was about to get to that. You know what I mean? I was right up to that point where I was like, okay, I can probably make it another few days, but after that, I'm just going to be like, this better get better. And thankfully, it did. So I hope that answers your question. But I would literally try to make it from bed to the shower, and just hopefully stop bleeding and oozing in the shower, you know. And I would eventually, I would get out and put whatever bandages, gauze on I could, and put my clothes on, and hopefully, get out to the job site just for about an hour, check on it, and I would time that so that it was right before I had to pick up Alex at school. And by the time I got back home, it was like, oh my God, all my clothes had to be changed. And it was pretty, I mean, it's pretty gross, guys. I mean, I just, it was an eye opener for me. And just, you just got to take care of yourself. And, you know, I don't know. I, I'm back in this mode now where I'm taking 2 showers a day just to keep clean. You know, I'm not sure if I got some kind of scratch, or I do remember vaguely sitting on a wood pile and having sort of a pain, um, like where I had sat on a nail or something. And that was sort of the general area the infection was in. But I didn't think anything of it. But 2 days later, I was, in the hospital. So, but anyway, Farah 229. I used to live in Indiana. Did you go to the Blueberry Festival? Um, there's apparently a lot of my relatives in Indiana. My family came over from Ireland in the 1790s, something like that, and they wandered through the Appalachian Mountains. And of course, I came from the Upper East Tennessee Appalachians. That's where my family's from. But some of them wandered into Indiana and Ohio, and I always claimed my family was, helped create the bluegrass uh, explosion in America. I like to think that anyway. And my mother tells a story which is pretty funny, because it's not funny because she has dementia now, but she claims, and she actually does come from Wares Valley, Sevierville, where Dolly Parton comes from. She claims she knew her as a child, but of course we don't know that now to be true or not, because, uh, you know, uh, well, what's funny is we are actually distant cousins of Sandra Locke. My my great great grandmother's last name was Locke, and so what's funny is that my mother tells these stories that are kind of, you don't know if they're true or not, because yeah, my my grandmother's name was Locke. We called her um, Granny Locke, but so Sandra Locke was Clint Eastwood's girlfriend, and she was actually in some of his movies. But my brother says he remembers her sitting us when we were children, when we were kids. Of course, I don't remember that, nor do I half believe it. So anyway, how did I get off on that? Oh, Indiana and the Blueberry Festival. We have a local, what's it called? A farm where you can go and pick blueberries. You just pay, to go out there and pick them, which is pretty cool. Robbie Russ. Hi, Tony. Hey, Robbie. Look at this. Let me refresh the comments here again. For some reason, I don't get the comments like on the side, like I see some other people do. Mine are like comments that are like from like a regular video. So I have to refresh them and go through and scroll down. Let's see. Yeah, but I'm actually excited because we're actually between projects, and I'm estimating some projects. But next week, I should be able to get it. I should be feeling better and getting out to the range because I'm excited to try out. They have just a pistol day where I try. I just take all my pistols, and I've done it before, and it's really fun. Because in our range, we have these posts that make up, the bays, and they're about, I don't know, 16, 18 feet apart. Excuse me. The wife fixed a very good Labor Day meal today. But anyway, and so what I'll do is I'll take two strings, run them across between those posts, and I'll put paper plates. I don't know, you can see. I'll have to go look up one of my videos. What I'll do is I'll take each of my pistols and just see how I'm doing, which one's shooting, which one shooting the best. And of course, it's usually always the Glock 40, Glock 19, but sometimes it's my Colt 1911. Sometimes it's my CZ 82. It's funny how that works out, and so I'll try to take 10 or 8 or 10 pistols out there, and that'll be fun because obviously they're easy to tote around, unlike the all the big guns. The quick and easy range trip, and go during the week when nobody's there, which is easier when you're trying to make a video, because I've actually I've actually been out there before to the range, and I'll be talking, and people will say, "Huh? What? What are you talking about?" They'll think I'm talking to them and respond to me. So that's pretty funny. So anyway, any other comments? Let me reload the comments. I don't know. I guess y'all don't know this, and I'm probably not supposed to say anything, but we have a YouTube event coming up in October that I'm excited about, and that's a big time. Lots of fun meeting other YouTubers, and so that's kind of an event I'm looking forward to for October. My birthday's on the 16th, so I tell Barrett it's my birthday present. He has to go with me. He has no choice, and because I need him. Last year, he took his guitar and we made a live. If you've ever noticed the ending, the closing guitar piece that he does. Oh God, I went to go to bed. Anyway, the closing of our videos is from that event. There were, we had like 20,000 guns going off. There was this just like 3-minute break in the action. Somebody called the range code, and I was like, "Hey Barrett, play the intro right quick." And he played it, and I was like, "That's nice," And all of a sudden, the guns started going off again. Bam, 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 bam. And it is really an anomaly It was really strange. Okay, it's almost like there was a break. We did a recording, and the gun started firing again. So anyway, so that outro, I guess you would call it, at the end of our videos, most of them, um, is that recording. And hopefully this year we'll get another unique experience. And I want to thank Eric um, for inviting me to that event. It's really special. And honestly, sometimes he is really Eric Iraq Vet 8888 is a really unique person. He's really down to earth and really deserves all of the um, success that he has had. I've seen, lately they've bought a house, they're building a new shop or reloading, they've got a new range, and I'm just happy for those guys because he is really a nice guy, you know. I remember the first year we started the uh, Pink Cricket fundraiser for MarineParents.com. He was just all over. He was just the nicest guy. And I said, "Yeah, we got to do that." And he's really happy to do it. And I don't know. I've just always respected him. I went down to the pawn shop, and God bless Barry. I met him. Um, he was really nice, and he signed the first pink cricket for the fundraiser, and was really blessed to meet him. I don't know. There's just something about some of the people, a lot of people in the gun community that's really refreshing and unique and just honest, you know. And he's one of those people. Now there's other people. Now, you've got people like Hickok. I've met him a few times. He's a really nice guy, but he's a little introverted. So, but I have really felt lucky also that he has signed the cricket fundraiser. I'm not sure what's going to happen this year because Tennessee, 10 Outdoors 9 is not sure what's going on. Well, I know what's going on with him. He's sort of taken a hiatus from YouTube, and we all need to try to encourage him to come back. He was sort of my liaison between a couple of YouTubers like 20 Twinkster and Hickok 45. He would always take the crickets and get them to sign them. And so this year, I'm not sure, honestly, what's going to happen. It's hard to recreate sometimes those little special moments that you find yourself in. I'm going to go down to this event and hopefully get a lot of the big time YouTubers to sign then. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? It'll be interesting to see how that works out. But what I'd like to do this year, there's been a pretty good emphasis on veteran suicide rates, and I'm hoping to work with we've worked with MarineParents.com both years, the past 2 years. I'd like to see what kind of things they have going on to help vets with the veteran, the suicide issue, because it's really sad. We really need to support our vets and try to figure out a way to help them feel like they have the support they need. And so maybe we can work work that in this year. Um, it just pains me to no end to think that we are asking young men to go and fight our wars for us, and then when they come home, we basically abandon them, and that's just it's unacceptable to me. And so I honestly don't know what the answer is to. I wish I had the, you always wish you had the answer to help someone through thoughts of suicide. And honestly, I've never had those thoughts. I've always thought my psyche was, my mental health was sound and secure. But honestly, when I was laying in bed and my wife was having to nurse me, and I was thinking, you know what? You can't live like this. You just it's who is it really fair to put your family? These are the thoughts that go through your head. And of course, your family is like, sure, just hush. We'll get through this. Don't think those thoughts. You know, and that's just nothing compared to what the to our vets go through with injuries and you know illnesses they contract. Um, I remember during the first Gulf War that a friend of mine was in the National Guard, and he was like, he was like 52 years old. This was back how long ago? 20 years. The first Gulf War, you know, and here he was about to retire. I think he was like a year away from retiring, and they sent him to the first Gulf War, and he was only a cook. And when he came back, he was whacked out. He came back and he had contracted some sort of illness, whatever that first Gulf War illness was. He was just never the same person. And that was my first experience, besides my brother, being in the army and coming back and not being the same. That was in the 80s, of course. We didn't have any major conflicts back then, but even my brother was changed. I'm not even sure what conflicts. I think it's maybe Panama or something. But it changes you, mentally and physically, and we don't understand that. We can't understand it, and we don't apparently even try to. So anyway, I didn't mean to get off on a rant, but um, it we really need to. If our country is going to exist, we need to support our vets. So, well, I kind of feel like I'm ranting now or rambling. Um, it was kind of a surprise event. None of my guests showed up, which is okay. But I appreciate all of those who continue to watch. My channel's kind of weird in a way. I may be doing a gun video one day and a beehive video the next. But honestly, you have to, after 1,300 videos, you have to do things to kind of help keep yourself, interested and otherwise you see a lot of these YouTubers go by the wayside. They get burnt out. And honestly, I could not do what a lot of them do. I couldn't do a gun video every other day or every week. I just couldn't do it. My whole life is not about guns. I have a family, I have children, I have hobbies, outside of the gun community. And so maybe that's how you find yourself outside the gun community. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of secret requirement that you have to do a gun video every week or something. I don't know. I didn't get the memo, but we'll figure it out. But I'll keep going because it's a great hobby. I love doing it. I love getting feedback, from you guys, and it's fun. It's a fun hobby. And so I really appreciate everybody watching. And uh, until the next video, I appreciate it.